Hello, and thank you for joining me here at Why the Book Wins, where I compare books with their movie adaptations. My name is Laura, and today I am talking about The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot, published in 2000, and I'm comparing it with the movie directed by Gary Marshall, which was released in 2001. And this is the story of Mia, a 15-year-old in the US who finds out that she is the heir to the throne of Genovia. However, she doesn't want to be a princess, but she is bribed into doing princess lessons, which are taught by her grandmother. And throughout this story, as she prepares to be a princess, she learns important lessons about friendship, responsibility, and loyalty. And I'm just going to get right into the details of the plot, which means there will be spoilers going forward. So beginning with Mia's dad. In the book, Mia's dad is still alive, and she does have a relationship with him, and she will go visit Genovia over the summers, and she'll see him and her grandmother. And she knows that they are wealthy and very important people. However, she somehow doesn't realize that he is the prince and her grandmother is the queen. At the start of the book, her father is in town to see her. In the book, she lives in New York City, but he is in town to see her because he has just recovered from getting cancer treatment, and now he is infertile. And so now that he can have no more children, Mia has to be the heir to the throne because he will now never have the opportunity to have more kids. And so he is there along with her grandmother in order to get her ready to be a princess. However, she doesn't want to be a princess, and she doesn't want to go to princess lessons taught by her grandmother, who she doesn't like. And so the father bribes her in the book, and he pays $100 a day to her favorite charity in order to get her to go to these lessons. Whereas in the movie, Mia's father died. By the time the movie starts, he has been dead for a few months, and she didn't really have a relationship with him. I mean, he would send her gifts, and she has like a photo of him, so she kind of knew him, but they definitely weren't close, and she never went to Genovia, and she had never met her grandmother Clarisse before. However, at the start of the movie, like I said, he has died recently, and because of his death, she is now the next heir because there is no one else available. And so Clarisse comes to San Francisco in the movie in order to break the news to Mia. And to talk about Clarisse, so yeah, in the book, she knew her grandmother Clarisse because she would go to Genovia and spend the summers with her, and she just doesn't like her. And throughout the book, even while she's giving her princess lessons, Clarisse definitely kind of seems to stay in queen mode, and there's a few times where maybe she starts to open up to Mia and maybe they start to have kind of a friendship, but for the most part, they never seem to bond very much, and she's never vulnerable with Mia. And the only humanizing thing that happens with her is at the very end of the book, there is this guy who pretends to be blind in order to get women to help him cross the street, but then he takes advantage of this opportunity and he will grope them. And so at the very end of the book, Clarisse helps this man across the street, he grabs her and she hits him. And so Mia has this moment where she's like, wow, my grandma is actually pretty cool. But I thought this was in bad taste. I feel like the author could have come up with another way to humanize Clarisse in a funny way. Doing it this way, this guy gropes women and it's played for laughs. Not only women, Mia is 14 in this book and she has been groped by this man. So that's not funny and it's played for laughs, and I wasn't a fan. But also in both book and movie, someone notifies the reporters that Mia is the heir to the throne of Genovia. And so reporters are swarming her school and harassing her. And in the book, it's the grandmother Clarisse who had told the reporters. Whereas in the movie, it's the guy who gives her a makeover. And yeah, in the movie, Clarisse is of course played by Julie Andrews, and she is the perfect choice because she's just so regal and elegant while also having a warmth about her. And throughout the movie, we do see her become more vulnerable and open up to Mia and the way they bond. And we also have the scene where she cancels her plans for the day so that she can spend the whole day with Mia, doing whatever Mia wants. And so we see so much more of her, and they humanize her so much more in the ways the book didn't. And we just see her bond with Mia. Also in the very end, she confides in Mia that Mia is a lot like her because she also struggled with feeling like she wasn't good enough to be a princess and maybe didn't want to be a princess or queen, but how eventually they learn to take on the responsibility, And the movie also adds the romance between Clarisse and Joe, who is the bodyguard / driver. And I really liked this too, and I thought it was really sweet. And apparently the original script had not had this, but Julie Andrews and the guy who plays Joe, it was their idea to add that in because they thought it was important important to show romance at an older age. And then in both, she has a best friend named Lily. And in the book, she never tells Lily that she's a princess. Lily doesn't find out until everybody finds out because it's in the news. But prior to everyone finding out she's a princess, she and Lily had stopped being friends because Lily is giving Mia a hard time. Mia has a new look now, which Lily doesn't like. And she is also spending so much time with her grandmother and her father, and she has to do math tutoring. And so Lily is just like, you're never available anymore, and you're supposed to be helping me out with my TV show, and you're just too busy for me. But she's also just like very bossy and giving Mia a hard time. So Mia snaps back at Lily, and then Lily stops talking to her. And then even when news of Mia being a princess comes out, Lily still doesn't start talking to her really. And it isn't until the school dance, where at the end of the book, Josh, who is the most popular boy in school, he asks Mia to this dance, and she is so excited. However, they go to a dinner first, and a lot of Josh's friends are there, and he just spends the whole time talking to his friends. And then they get really drunk too, meaning Josh and his friends. And so they show up to the school dance, and Josh is drunk, and he had called the reporters to be there. And so reporters are taking pictures of them, and then he forces a kiss on Mia. And when they get inside, she confronts him being like, you know, you haven't tried to get to know me this whole evening. And he also ordered her steak when she is a vegetarian, but it shows how little he knows her. And then also the fact that he forced a kiss on her without her wanting to be kissed. And so she tells him off, and then from there she goes into the bathrooms to write in her diary. And then Lily comes in, and Lily, you know, they make amends and they become friends. But in the book, while she was not talking to Lily, Mia ends up sitting with this other girl at school who also has a bodyguard follow her around because her father is like some rich Saudi Arabian person. And Mia, in the book, the driver slash bodyguard, he follows Mia around in class. And so her and this other girl each have bodyguards following them around. So she starts sitting with this girl at lunch. And by the end of the book, Mia, Lily, and this girl are all friends. Whereas in the movie, Mia and Lily do get into an argument, you know, after Mia's makeover and everything. But then Mia tells Lily that she is a princess. So she tells her before everybody else finds out. And so they never have a point where they're not friends. However, later on in the movie, she promises Lily that she will go on her show. However, Mia forgets. And so this does cause a rift, but it wasn't as dramatic as it was in the book. And ultimately, all is fine in the end. But I will say though, Lily is kind of a hypocrite because in both, she judges Mia for her makeover. But her whole thing is how like the popular kids make fun of Mia and Lily for the way they look. And so they're like, oh, the popular kids are so judgmental. But then she's being judgmental of not only the way the popular kids look, but now that Mia has a new look, now she's being super judgmental based on Mia's look, right? So it's so hypocritical. And there were times where I'm just like, man, I don't know if Lily is really that good of a friend. And that goes for both book and movie, really. But yeah, Mia accepting the role as princess, in both, she is resistant to it, but I feel like it was built up more in the movie because they have this fancy dinner she has to prepare for. But then there's a ball at the end of the movie, and this is where she will be introduced to the press. And the ball scene is very dramatic because Mia is going to run away because she doesn't think she's up to the task of being a princess. However, she finds a letter her dad had written her, and this causes her to change her mind. And so she ends up making it to the ball. However, she is soaking wet because it was raining, and she's, you know, in a hoodie, but she gives a speech that everybody is very impressed by. And then later on, she changes into her gown. And so, yeah, it was just more of a dramatic ending with her taking on this role of being a princess. Whereas in the book, it almost feels like the book just kind of ends and Mia is just happy because she's friends with Lily again and things are going good with her and Lily's brother, Mike. And yeah, she's just accepted being a princess and all is well. And there was no ball and no fancy dinner. But also in both book and movie, her mom starts dating one of her teachers, and this was much more of a thing in the book, whereas in the movie, it's just something that is lightly touched on. But also, like I said, in both book and movie, Lily's brother has a crush on Mia, and in the book, he helps tutor her in math, so that is how he grows close to her, whereas in the movie, he is in a rock band, but he also is helping fix up her Mustang, so that is how he grows close to her in the movie. And yeah, in both book and movie, she was into Josh, who was the popular kid, but ultimately, she realizes that Josh sucks, and then she and Michael kind of start dating. But also in the book, you know, in both book and movie, Lily has her little TV show she does, and in the book, a big thing she is working on when she has her argument argument with Mia is how she finds out there's like this Chinese deli that gives discounts to Asian customers. And so she's like, oh, we need to expose this deli and stop their racism because they favor Asian customers. And this was just so stupid, and it's no surprise that the movie did not put this in the story. Also in the book, there's this guy who stalks Lily, and he has a foot fetish, so he's constantly trying to get Lily to show her feet on screen. And yeah, this too was just kind of weird and dumb. But also in the book, Lily, her parents are very rich, and each video she films, it costs $200 to make. It's this whole production, and her parents finance it, and they are just these rich psychologists. But to move on to book versus movie, the changes the movie made not only make the story more heartfelt and fun, but it also just makes more sense. Like Mia going to Genovia and spending time with her grandmother and her father, and yet not realizing that they are royalty. That doesn't seem believable. She is only 14, but still, I'm like, how could she not realize that? And she says how she looks up Genovia in an encyclopedia and she sees the name of, the next heir who was her father. However, in the encyclopedia, it's this crazy long name. And then the photo is like an old photo of him, so she doesn't even recognize him. And I just wasn't buying it. So I thought the movie, it was very smart of them to have, one, her father die, but also have it be, this distant family that she knows very little about and that she has never even met, and she has never even been to Genovia. And then, yeah, the relationship with her grandmother, again, that was much better in the movie. And the writing style of the book, I also didn't like. And in my Time Traveler's Wife video, I say I don't like books written from the perspective of kids. And this is true, but there are books that can do this well, right? Like, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret is narrated by an 11-year-old, and I really liked that book. And then The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, the first book, the girls are 14 years old, which is Mia's age, and I love that book. And so there are writers who I think write from this perspective well in an engaging way, whereas this book, Mia, I just was not connecting with her. I just found her annoying, and this book is really short, and yet it took me a week to read because I just did not care, and I wasn't engaged in the story. And like the Mia's voice that comes through, I just didn't like it. So yeah, the movie wins by a long shot, and this was Anne Hathaway's first movie role. Prior to this, she had just been in one season of a TV show. And so her career took off very quickly. And yeah, she was perfect casting for this role. I love Anne Hathaway. Of course, Julie Andrews is incredible. And so yeah, this is just a fun, sweet, cute movie with good performances. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Whereas the book, I would not recommend. Don't bother reading this one. It's not worth it. I don't know how the sequels are, but I have zero interest in reading any other books in this series. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. If you want to watch more Why the Book Wins content, I have covered Ella Enchanted, which is another Disney Princess Anne Hathaway movie, which I also really love. But I have also covered Mary Poppins, which is of course another Julie Andrews Disney movie. So I will link to both of those on the screen. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.